to the K.
To the K.
To the K. We are talking Survivor Series,
Yes, we are.
Wargames,
Yes, we
reaction,
are.
review. Did anything big happen?
No, not much. Did Cody finish the story?
No, not yet.
No.
Hmm.
Fairly lackluster one, really.
Yeah. I suppose we better talk about it.
No.
Yeah. So we kick things off. Women's War Games match. Iyo Sky's mental, isn't she?
Who's in the bin?
Iyo Sky, get in the bin, but for all the right reasons.
It's like fans out there like, oh, she's trash. Because she's
got it.
Yeah. No, all in all, cracking match, to be fair.
It was set the
It
bar
delivered.
very high.
I just don't know how I feel about Damage Control losing, though.
Yes, to be fair.
Like, just to get right to the point. I don't know how I feel about that. Does that help Damage Control?
I'm trying to think now.
Okay, then.
Who got the win and who took the pin?
I think Bayley took the pin.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you who delivered the pin on the other side, though.
So I thought this was going to happen. So in the prediction series, I got it right. Because this then makes you go, oh, well, Bayley's the one who took the pin. She's already struggling to maintain the power and damage control. So I knew
I think
that.
she's getting ousted then, yeah.
It has to be, doesn't it, really? The problem
I've
is,
always expected it to turn on them in some way, though.
but I think now she's outnumbered, isn't she, now? Because, like,
She's very much outnumbered.
Io's brought in Kyrie and Asuka into the mix, whereas Bayley has got Dakota left. So it's like...
I think Dakota's probably going to be someone who screws her over,
Maybe.
to be honest.
But yeah, I think Shotzi was... I feel bad. Everyone was just like, fucking, Shotzi's taking the pin. Like, Shotzi's awful. What's she even doing this match and stuff? I mean... She did all right, to be fair.
She did, and she's not awful. It's just the way they've built everyone else in this match. I can understand why people thought she was going to be the one eating the pin.
Yeah. It did feel a little bit out of place, but I think that's more to do with how, like, little build she's had almost for it.
Exactly.
So,
they haven't really got... You kind of just gone, and Shotzi.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else kind of had purpose. Like, Damage Control, obviously... The way they've been formed makes sense why they're all there.
Yeah.
So Shotzi's just an inclusion. It just didn't. They could have fleshed that out a little bit better.
I did wonder where this whole thing was going to go with Becky and Charlotte, where it was like, oh, frenemies, like, oh, she accidentally broke up the pin, oh, can she be trusted and all that. But the fact they seem to have buried the hatchet and they're not going that route with it is refreshing, whether that's actually the case.
I mean, it'd be more refreshing if we didn't have that. No, I can't even vote about Charlotte. I mean, she's doing
right.
I normally complain about too much Charlotte, but they're not overexposing her either, so I can't even complain.
No, and she's nowhere near the main title, isn't she?
Exactly. Yeah. She's doing it.
What more can you ask for at this point in time? But yeah, I thought it was a fantastic opener. They set the bar very high.
Indeed, a good position for it to be, in all honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
kick it off nicely.
What does it mean now for damage control?
What does it all mean?
Yeah. What does it all mean, Baz? So the problem I've got with the rest of this card, and it's no offense to the other matches on there, but you don't think the rest of the card just kind of felt like piss break matches almost? I mean, they weren't the longest matches. Like, this next one, Gunther and Miz, was really good. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it was.
It was about War Games, wasn't it? And the problem is when you do this, different to the traditional Survivor Series, you've got these two rings, and it's very much like, well, we can't just have the two matches, so we'll just put some filler in between them. Yeah,
and sadly, it does make it feel that way. And like, even the positioning in this match, like, it was a banger of a match, and I wouldn't want it to overshadow the women's War Games. So you go, well, kind of had to be where it is, but then it does feel very much like a fist break. You just had a hell of a match.
Yeah.
And this is a good match, but this is where you take your break, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I maybe I jumped the gun a bit. Like, it's more the next two where I think it was, which we'll come on to. But this match itself, the problem is...
Do you not think that this was a good match despite its positioning?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's because those two delivered with each other.
Yeah.
Not because of where it is in the card. I think it's placed wrongly.
Yeah. And maybe I'm in the minority here because, and again, just like, praising myself, but I did pretty well in the prediction series. I got most of it right. Most of it was very obvious to me. Did anyone think Gunther was losing to Miz?
No. Did they fuck?
Right. So
actually, what did I guess? I don't even think I made it onto the fucking screen this time.
Yeah, I think you did.
So.
But at least you didn't this time.
That's true.
Could be part of the reason why you're not higher up the table.
Think
about that.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, the problem is with a lot of the matches is I think the outcome was very clear. So Gunther was never losing to The Miz here, was he? But good match. And, The Miz, one of the best IC champs of all time. Double Grand Slam champ.
Okay.
Sure. Not better than Brett and Perfect.
I'll see you for that. In a world where we've got an absolute, I'm not even going to get into this because you're going to then ask me to list them and then we're going to get into a whole thing. But he's good.
Yeah.
But is he up there? Would you even say top 5?
No, top 10 maybe.
Okay, I'll give you top 10
for the stuff he's done with it, bringing prestige back to the IC title after so long and stuff.
Yeah.
But then again, Gunther's doing that now, so maybe Gunther surpassed him anyway.
And Gunther's managed to do it with a shit belt as well.
That is true. I fucking hate that belt.
It's fucking awful.
Cody, why didn't you just bring back that belt again?
Cody.
Do it. But yeah, decent match, but predictable. Speaking of predictable, so Carlito is injured. He can't compete. Let's throw Dragon Lee in there. Triple H even said, and it's a bit silly, really. Triple H even said, it's like, he wants us to put some lucha on there. Why has that become a thing now? Let's showcase some lucha.
Put some lucha on it.
Yeah, what a weird thing to say.
Yeah. I don't know. It's disappointing. I think people were so ready for Carlito to come back for this not to happen.
We've not had any proper explanation. Is there something up with him in real life? Is he actually legitimately injured or what? Because it makes no sense for Dragon Lee to be in there.
No.
Carlito at least is in the LWO when he was trying to seek, vengeance for what happened to Ray.
And then the guy who called him out and pissed him off isn't even the one who he fought.
Yeah. So it's what the hell? So Dragon Lee comes in because Rey Mysterio thinks he's the future of lucha wrestling.
It's just getting the nod from Ray then.
Basically. What a really weird way to go around it.
Yeah.
Well,
and it just made it less impactful.
It did, unfortunately. And again, I think as soon as Dragon Lee was brought into the mix, I think it was obvious anyway, but we knew Santos was going to win because, they're developing his heel persona now on the main roster.
I mean, I think he was doing better on NXT, to be honest.
Well, yeah. This LWO thing, you can see why they went for it and what they've done with it, but when he was kind of, as you say, in NXT with his own little faction, Legado del Fantasma,
the issue for me is he never needed Ray. Yeah and no, he never needed Ray as the leader of their faction. He could have happily feuded with Ray coming in with Legado del Fantasma. Yeah. He could have even had his guys turn on him for Ray or whatever. But the fact that he come in for a while just to be a bit player in Ray's LWO,
which is funny really, because he's meant to be the heel, but you fucking agree with everything he said. Yeah. Ray's literally come in, took over what he had. Yeah, bring in Carlito with Ali. It's hang on a minute. Yeah, exactly. He's the bad guy.
And he's such a sympathetic villain, really. Yeah.
So,
I don't really like the way they did it because it could have easily been a feud with Ray, him and Legado del Fantasma feuding with Ray, and then they could have easily had the other two turning on him. But why Ray ever had to be the leader and everyone just go, well, you're the leader and we're going to be the LWO now? Yeah, just didn't feel right to me.
I'm still soured on the whole Viva La Raza thing used at the start. It's come on.
Did you know he was friends with Eddie?
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That's why they do it.
Right. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
A little known fact. You really have to dig deep to find that sort of thing.
Infuriates me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this was a piss break. And unfortunately, this next one was a piss break. Again, did anyone really think Zoey started the treating?
Rhea is fantastic. And we knew that she weren't going to lose here.
No.
And sadly, it doesn't make it a bad match by any means, but when it's predictable as fuck.
Yeah. And I feel bad on Zoey Stark as well because she's clearly got the chops. But if you think of,
Gunther.
If you think of when they did Rhea versus Zelina Vega, for example, that was a show stealing match. The pair of them, it was wow, that was so much better than what I expected. This was just nothing, wasn't it?
Would you not think though that's because I think people underrate Zelina, so then you end up going, that was a really good match. But I think people knew this was going to be a good match. But they also knew what their decision was going to be. So it just made the whole thing kind of I
don't think there was much story there. She didn't really play a good underdog. She's not really got a lot of charisma. And it was just obviously Rhea's going to squash it.
The whole Trish thing kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
I think that was rather random. That wasn't really a story when you think about it.
Well, I don't know. Trish was basically took her for granted, didn't she? And she'd finally had enough. It was meant to be a babyface turn, but she's just not really been a proper babyface since. They put it with Shayna Baszler and that, who I still see as a heel, but she's apparently a babyface now because she was feuding with Ronda, who was a heel. And it's these should really be playing heels.
I feel like they ended the whole thing for Zoey really weirdly. And it's probably half of that, actually, where you go, it didn't really go full babyface here.
No.
But it just felt like it didn't end properly. So now she's just there.
Yeah. And I feel like this like push or whatever it was for her has ended now as well because she got squashed by Nia Jax the next night. Yeah. Well, on the Monday. So it's like, So
yeah, sadly, that's the Zoey experiment. I think done for a little bit.
Who do you think is going to be the one to actually pose a proper threat to Rhea? Because surely they're not going to do Charlotte again because we've been there, done that a million times.
I think
is it Becky Lynch? Is it Bianca?
The annoying thing is, I've always wanted to say Jade, and I feel like it should have been Jade, but now what we're hearing is she's nowhere near even being in ring. So I honestly don't know what they're going to do unless we get a surprise. And some people are speculating that Mercedes Moné is going to resign at some point.
I can't see it, to be honest.
You couldn't see Punk coming back and look what happened.
Well, yeah. You couldn't see Cody coming back and look what happened.
You couldn't see Brett coming back and look what happened.
You couldn't see... Yeah, I don't know.
Sean finding his smile.
Stupid. I bring up Sean of all the people.
I just like to upset you.
I fucking hate that guy.
Hate that guy.
So yeah, again, another piss bake, unfortunately, and it's no disrespect to the pair of them, but it was like a dead short match, and it was an obvious outcome. So why be invested in it?
Other than further confirmation that Rhea is a badass.
Well, yeah, like we even needed that confirmation. We all know. Which then took us to the main event, the men's war game match.
Yay!
Judgment Day had the advantage. And it was all right. Apparently, what you shouldn't do, you shouldn't think that like JD McDonough's not going to be very good in this match and post a meme on TikTok beforehand. Yeah. Because then suddenly the pitchforks come out.
And then no one looks at the date or time. And they're just like...
And then everyone comes at you,
you know? More than damn dead! And you're like, all right, chill. I don't know why I picked on that particular one.
Well, yeah, to be fair. But do you know what? He took a decent RKO.
He did well in it.
Fair play to JD. But
the joke was that he's an odd choice to be just part of...
Yeah.
Judgment Day anyway, he was just there.
He's the Shotzi of the group, and in the nicest way possible.
No, yeah, he's kind of just been put in there.
Yeah, it's like he's Irish and Finn's Irish, and they probably know each other. We'll stick him in Judgment Day, kind of.
You guys know each other, right?
Yeah. Everyone knows each other.
I bet your Finn's there, like, look, yes, but that's not the point. We happen to be cousins, but I'm not happy about this.
So yeah, like. Okay, fine. You love JD. Fine, whatever. The match itself, though, was good. I thought Drew didn't do a lot.
I mean, there was a lot of suggestion that the whole Drew thing wasn't a work. I still think it is, especially with the rocking up on Raw.
Yeah.
But when you're like, I kind of believe that it wasn't a work because when you like watch the story that he didn't really do a lot and he stormed off.
In Balmore. I imagine he watched that.
You know what I mean? You go like, so he didn't really get much of a show here, and then he kind of stormed off, but he stormed off before the big surprise, so it went in relation to that. So what's he unhappy about now? And I don't know, like it's kind of a poor story if it's a story.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not overly sold.
He tried to say,
I like him being a heel. That being said,
he tried to say that Judgment Day pitched it to him that they had a master plan of how to win, and they were going to hand him Jey Uso on a silver platter, basically. So that's why he agreed to join them because he wanted to get revenge on Jey for obviously the bloodline and costing him the title opportunity and blah 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 blah. So that was meant to be the kayfabe reason why, but
that's a shit reason.
It is a shit reason.
Because you're in a cage with Jey.
Yeah.
Go and beat him up yourself, Nobbed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't know.
You're literally locked in the cage with the guy. Just surely that.
And it's like I'm not being funny. Like I'm all for like, all right, it's kayfabe storytelling and all this, but it's like. How easily is this to just get matches? You just randomly go, I want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
And apparently we had nothing booked, so let's get in the ring now.
Yeah. What do you make of the failed Money in the Bank cash-in thing again? So the whole story was Randy Orton hadn't shown up and we didn't know whether he was going to be there. He wasn't there in the cage. When it got down to his turn to enter, he just didn't. He was not there. Next minute, Rhea comes down, briefcase. Damien's going to cash in. Then Randy Orton appears to stop it.
I mean... I think, sadly, this is another one of them Money in the Banks, and I think Damien should be given an opportunity. But I think it's another one of them Money in the Banks where they don't know what they want to do with it. Yeah, I think they've shit the bed on it. They don't want to cash in with Damien, and I've mentioned this on the news one. I don't want to harp on too much because I've said this a few times now. But they've just got too many players involved now for them to actually know what they want to do, and I feel like Damien's going to be the consequence of that.
Yeah.
He's definitely deserving of a main event shot. He's definitely deserving of holding the title for a bit. But we've got so many people who are involved that he's not going to get near the fucking thing. And
no.
do you know what? I don't even mind that, but have him cash in and fucking lose.
Yeah.
We don't get that anymore. People don't lose anymore. They either get the fucking case taken off them somehow,
they lose
or they win the
match. Yeah, like...
and it's like, just cash in and be unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think there's a massive issue with Money in the Bank. It's like, I can't remember the last time there was one that made a lot of sense. It's a prop, isn't it, now? They just carry it around to have, like...
And I get it, it's merch, because they'll be selling senior Money in the Bank cases.
At the end of the day, it's a contract. Why wouldn't you just cash it in as soon as you can and become champ?
Yeah.
Why'd you drag it out? And I get it, it's like, oh, well, he's not dragged it out, he tried to cash in, but it's like, how many failed cash-ins can you really fucking have? Like, just insult your intelligence, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So, he's just a really piss-poor planner then.
And to be honest, this just echoes what they did last time.
Yeah.
Who had it last time?
Exactly.
Theory, on it.
And he didn't get it.
He got knocked out by Tyson.
Yeah.
Like every time he tried to cash in.
Yeah.
And then he cashed in for the US title for no reason.
Exactly.
I was like, you shit the bed there. And it was the same thing over and over again, wasn't it? I'm trying to cash in and I can't do it.
You've reminded me, forgotten about that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But that was exactly what they're doing with Damien, is what they did then. I just keep trying to cash in and failing.
Yeah.
Is Damien just going to cash in for a mediocre belt as well?
Who knows? The whole thing is a load of fucking shit. But yeah, so we did all that, the big swerve, and then all of a sudden Randy Orton appears, and it's like, well, yeah, we kind of know because you denounced him, so it'd be pretty stupid if he didn't appear.
I know.
And I get why now.
Expense of him not appearing straight away.
I get why now, because then it made you think like, oh, what's going on? I was like, oh, it is Randy. Okay, yeah, fine. And then obviously we get what we'll talk about in a minute. But
okay, we'll talk about that.
Nice to see Randy come back. He looked jacked. He looked fucking hench.
Okay.
Mad hench. And yeah, it's just good to see him back. Obviously, he's a proper legend.
RKO motherfuckers.
He is.
I think like some of his classic moveset you just miss, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're like, it's good to have him back.
What do you make of the interaction with him and Cody? Because it's kind of like, obviously Cody was crying at the press conference afterwards and stuff. Like because Randy apparently said to him like, thanks for the call, and he wanted to say thanks for his career and all this kind of stuff.
I mean, I'll be honest, Cody. I don't mean this like he's obviously. He loves the business and he seems like a really cool dude. But he's also like, he's the type of dude who would rock up on your birthday and blow out your birthday candles just so he can be involved. It does me fucking head in. It's like, Randy's back. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
I said it before about other things. It's like, and not everything has to involve Cody.
Yeah. No, I do get it.
I get there's a history there, but sometimes show don't fucking tell.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk. You don't have to incessantly fucking talk. We get there's a history there. Acknowledge each other in the match and then fucking leave it.
So what you're saying is you should acknowledge him.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that.
What happened to just like...
Yeah. Like,
instead like, let me do a 20-minute monologue. It's like, no! Sorry.
You talk about like Triple H was saying there's so many interweave storylines in this thing that we're getting resolved. And it's like, other than Drew and Jay and the supposed acceptance of the offer from Judgment Day, the only other interwoven stories are all Cody, because he gets himself in fucking everyone's pies, doesn't he?
Well, Cody's got some history with Dom, and he's got some history with Randy, and he's got some history with Drew,
and Tammy,
and it's like, yeah. And then, we've got another storyline. Jay kind of fancies Rhea.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, so many interwoven stories.
Oh, it's all so interwoven.
So yeah,
and it's literally stories are, he don't like him, he likes him. These aren't stories.
No.
These are just feelings.
But they're
feeling strips.
They're all about Cody as well, aren't they? So it's interesting. It still annoys me that it was Team Cody. Like, we've not even mentioned Seth's name once. And that tells you everything you need to know. We haven't said Seth's name once, right? And he's the world champ. So yeah,
Seth is such a company guy that he'll do what he's asked, but it's
even
literally that it's all about Cody.
Even the ending though of it as well, it was like Randy was like, "No, Cody, you do it," and it was Damien who got pinned, and it was like, wow, like really.
And do you know what's actually really annoying? The Randy thing to do would have been for him to just RKO Cody out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
right. That's the Randy we all know.
Randy we know and love, isn't he?
And we didn't even get that because you can't do that to Cody. And everyone loves Cody.
He's going on about he's got history with the bloodline. They took him out and blah blah blah. Why didn't he get Jay then? Like, Drew McIntyre's fuming with Jay. Why wouldn't Randy be?
That's a good point.
So, yeah, I think there's more still to come with it all. But yeah, once again, it was all about Cody. And Cody got the pin.
I'm a little annoyed that Jay was wearing his t-shirt that said yeet and no one threw him off anything.
Oh, yeah. Should have been yeeted off something, for sure. But yeah, then they pulled the old swerve. Not sneaky swerve, but end of the thing, the baby faces stand tall, hands raised, little logo comes on, the end credits thing, and you're like, it's a good pay-per-view, that. And the next minute, that's the remastered.
Oh, right, okay.
You know that they've done.
I'll be honest.
Not great.
I appreciate the shock value.
Yes.
But this was the very definition of a cheap pop. Shout out to the cheap pop. Right? Because they were just like, well, let's do that at the very last minute just to get the audience riled up and then fucking leave.
Well, exactly. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a hell of a holy shit.
No, it was a shock.
The fact he just came out and
you know, when you sit and digest it, you go, couldn't they have done it a bit earlier in the pay-per-view and let people enjoy that? Rather than it being the very last minute. So it's like, yeah, you know, we booked them for all of 5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's that element to it. I miss, though, things like that, because I remember back in, like, Raw, because, like, obviously we were in, like, school, like, back in, like, the times when, like, there was the Attitude Era and it was, like, fucking must-see TV. But you'd imagine wrestling fans would, like, find out something could go crazy on Raw, there'd be a cliffhanger, and the next day in work, they'd be like, fucking hell, did you see what Austin did last night? What do you think? And have something to talk about. And I think that's what this kind of reminded me of. It was like on the Saturday, broke the internet, and everyone was, and then the next minute he's going to be on Raw, and everyone's like, "Fucking hell, what's going to go?"
I think the issue I've got is more that, like, let's say when you watch the Royal Rumble, if you rocked up in the Royal Rumble match, you'd then have time to digest that, and you'd hear the commentators talking about it, and you'd have that. Or like if you'd have rocked up in a match that had relevance or history to Punk, which I know is hard because he's been gone that long, there weren't really any matches or history there. But like, it was literally just, well, we've done the very last match, and then 5 seconds before we go off air, here he is. And it was just like, I don't know, I would have enjoyed more time to digest what's just happened.
It was for the Chicago fans, wasn't it?
It was for that.
It was in Chicago. They were like, well, we'll bring you Punk then. And all the Chicago fans all
bring in a pizza.
So, exactly. No deep dish anywhere. No. Not even any fucking ice cream bars.
But overall, I mentioned this before and I won't harp on again, but this is the place for Punk. He's a company guy. He obviously likes the way WWE operates, the machine operates. He's used to it.
Yeah.
And I don't think he likes the indie scene, as it were. So I think this is the place for him, and I think he'll do well with it. The trouble is, he is now one of many people who are involved in the main event scene, and I really, really don't know what they're going to do next.
No.
Fucking really don't.
I suppose that's why we keep watching. And
then we'll be angry when top merch seller
seasons.
And fucking heat magnet CM Punk is going to be in the main event somewhere. So well, exactly. Everyone's just going to have to deal with it because some people are getting ousted.
Yeah. And it's one of them, I don't know whether it's just because I'm old. Like, I'm not a fan of those like reaction videos. Like, I've seen loads of other vloggers or like podcasters or whatever, like doing live watch-alongs and Punk's reaction, and they're like, oh, and they're going fucking cringe. Personally, not for me. I was shocked, but I was just like, oh shit, man.
That's why we don't do reaction videos, because we just be like, huh?
Yeah. So I'm like, is it a big moment? Yeah. Is it like a run around your house and scream and like fucking wake up your neighbours and all that? Probably not.
He's like trying to explain to the police. Now CM Punk's back. That's why I was screaming.
Yeah, but the fact is, you know, as to keep saying, hell's frozen over. No one expected to see it. It was on no one's bingo card. He's back. Where's he fit in? No one knows, and I guess that's what'll make it exciting. I'm intrigued at the fact that once again on Raw, like Randy was back, and straight away he's in something with the Judgment Day. He's rocking up on SmackDown to do something with the Bloodline. CM Punk was just there with a live microphone, didn't interface with anyone.
Yeah.
So it's making you think, well, what's going to go on then? Is it Seth? Is someone else going to come in? Is he going to get Shinsuke'd?
No.
Like Cody did?
Cody's going to get Shinsuke'd. Yeah. He's probably heard that Shinsuke's popular, so...
Just needs another hurdle. To finish the story.
Oh, he's going to come out with fucking sunglasses on next week, because he got misted in the face.
Oh, maybe.
I already saw the comments, and I don't know if it's something that Cody pointed out, but it just feels like such a Cody thing to point out. But somebody thingy and he got the red mist all over his $5,000 suit and all this, and I'm like, that's such a Cody fucking thing to say. Yeah. I know Cody didn't say it, but I'm sure somebody...
You'll be out next week saying, at least my face matched my red bottom shoes and my red tie and my...
What do you want, Shinsuke? You want my Rolex?
The people's...
Anyway. He's a man of the people. He really is.
Yeah.
He's a man. You'd love to have some libations with the man.
Of course you would. Several libations
and a nice
with
cigar.
That guy. Yeah, 100%. That's what normal folk do, isn't it?
Yeah. You're like, hello, normal folk. He just hasn't got a clue. Is he? No.
He's the Rishi Sunak of WWE.
Got friends who are working
This is how you use the hammers.
Ironic because he is a fucking spanner.
He is. He very much is. That's where he went wrong. He knows all about the spanners, just not the hammers.
Just for clarity, for those who might have glossed over that, we're now talking about the Prime Minister, not Cody Rhodes.
That's what we do. We are British. You have to can't do that sometimes. Hard to tell though.
Cody for Prime Minister?
Yeah. You got a better chance of finishing the story than what's going on over here. But yeah, so they be our Survivor Series thoughts. Do you disagree? Do you also want to shout at me because I dissed JD McDonough? Then
I don't know TikTok.
Come on, open arms. But yeah, what did you think? What was your favourite match? Do you agree about the piss breaks? Have we offended you by saying that? And yeah, CM Punk's back. What do you think's next for him? Let us know in the comments. We will catch it on the next one.